Watching Kyle's unboxing videos again?
Yeah, he always finds the coolest... No way! A robot dog? Gotta ask where he got it.
Or use your Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Just draw a circle around the dog on your screen, and it shows you where to buy it right in the app.
Whoa, I just learned a new trick. And that for once, I beat Kyle to the next big thing.
Circle it, find it with the new Galaxy S24 Ultra and circle the search with Google. Get yours now at Samsung.com. Internet connection required. Results may vary based on visuals.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/SBO. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day, and that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
This episode is brought to you by TurboTax. TurboTax experts make all your moves count. Filing with 100% accuracy and getting your max refund guaranteed. So whether you started a podcast like this one, side hustled your way to concert tickets, or quit your job to stream video games online full-time, switch to TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Welcome back, Ram fans. This is Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are proud members of the Fans First Sports Network. That's fansfirstsports.com. You can also follow us on YouTube. Our channel is at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. You'll hear from my co-host, Tom, on occasion as well. Hey, we're not Rams insiders. We're just longtime fans who love talking about our Los Angeles Rams. Let's get to it. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 259 of Rams Up. You know, last episode 358, I celebrated a guy that was one of the best undrafted rookie free agent signings in the history of our St. Louis or Los Angeles Rams, and that was Corey Littleton. And then I got to episode 359 and I said, wait a second, there's another undrafted rookie free agent signing that, well, this one probably eclipses the Corey Littleton signing, and that was London Fletcher, the linebacker out of John Carroll University. Fletcher was invited to the scouting combine, performed pretty well, was expected to be a day 2 selection. He was not one of the 30 linebackers selected, and the Rams picked him up. Played for the Rams from 1998 to 2001, 5'10", 240-pound old-school linebacker, the Division III National Linebacker of the Year. Started in that Super Bowl win over the Titans, recorded 11 combined tackles, 9 solo, as the Rams won that game. Went on to even greater things with the Buffalo Bills and then the Washington, at that time, Redskins. London Fletcher, man, if you're talking great Ram linebackers, you got to include him. Just sorry he got away. What do we have for you this episode? We're going to give you a viewer's guide to the Senior Bowl. It's coming up this Saturday. And we're going to start picking away at our reviews of draft prospects. Baby steps here. We'll take a high-level look at one position today. That'll be the tight ends. And then by the time the draft comes around, we will have covered every position in depth, in round tables, upside down, inside out. But today, just the tight ends, not a position of big concern for the Rams, in my opinion. And we're also going to look at free agents. We're going to combine it, look at the draft prospects, the free agents. But let's start with who the Rams have on their roster right now? Well, Tyler Higbee, the 2016 draft pick, the all-time Rams leading tight end as far as receiving yardage, but he got hurt. Pretty serious injury in that Lions game, sort of kind of cheap shot, right? Hoping he can come back healthy. And then Davis Allen, the rookie, will be coming back for a second year, 245-pound at tight end. And then Hunter Long also coming back from an injury. So 2 coming back from injury, and then Davis Allen. I think we're set there, assuming Higbee and Long come back healthy. Really just need one of them. But geez, hopefully they both come back 100%. And if they do, we'll be set pretty good. Senior statesman Tyler Higbee, Hunter Long, been around for a few years, but just trying to get his career off the ground, but shows a lot of promise. And then Davis Allen, he was a bright spot for the Rams at times when he had his chances. But let's be real here. Tyler Higbee is probably not going to be ready for opening day. They also have 2 guys on futures contracts, Miller Forrestall and Nikola Kalanick. Now, Brycen Hopkins, he's an unrestricted free agent. I suspect he will be moving on, especially with the Rams signing Forrestall and Kalanick to futures contracts. Let's take a look at who the Rams have drafted over the years, recent years, going back 12, 13 years. In 2011, they drafted Lance Kendricks, and in 2016, Tyler Higbee. They actually drafted 2 tight ends in 2016. Tamarick Hemingway, remember him? He got hurt pretty bad. I think it was in a preseason game. And then in 2017, Sean McVay's first tight end pick, Gerald Everett. And in 2020, 3 years later, Brycen Hopkins. And then 3 years later, Davis Allen. Now, what do all these tight ends have in common? Well, you know what? They're all in that 245 to 255 range. And keep that in mind when we start looking at these draft prospects. And what free agents are available? Well, the top one is apparently Hunter Henry, 29 years old. Don't see the Rams spending that kind of money on a veteran tight end. Dalton Schultz, solid tight end. Not very dynamic, though. Again, more money than the Rams will want to spend. And then there's Gerald Everett, already 29 years old. Hard to believe. Very good in the screen game. Of all these guys we're about to talk about, probably the best after the catch. Not the greatest blocker. Again, probably going to demand more money than the Rams are willing to spend. But I wouldn't mind seeing Gerald Everett in a Rams uniform. Don't think it's going to happen, though. Now let's look at the draft prospects. The top guy, some have him as high as the number 4 rated prospect overall, Brock Bowers out of Georgia, 6'4", 240 pounds. Now, if he slipped into the teens, is that a guy that McVay could possibly fall in love with? I suppose a little bit on the light side, but rated as a pretty darn good blocker. It's just a matter of if the Rams want to use a high draft pick for a tight end. I don't think they do, especially after using a draft pick last year on Davis Allen, and that seems to be working out okay. I just don't think Brock Bowers, as good as he potentially could be, would really improve this passing attack that much. You're going to sit down Tyler Higbee and Davis Allen for the rookie in a potential Super Bowl year. Don't see that happening. So I don't think they're going to be drafting Brock Bowers, even if he's in that range where you could trade up and maybe snag him. I'll jump over 2 guys that I do like, 3 later tight ends, all a little light. If we go by the metrics that McVay and the Rams have drafted in the past, Jaheim Bell, Florida State, 6'3", 239. Bryson Nesbitt out of North Carolina, 6'5", 235. That's really lean for a tight end. And Isaac Rex out of BYU, 6'6", 255. So he does have the dimensions that the Rams might typically lean towards, but not rated as a great blocker. Now, the 2 guys I skipped would both probably be 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks. The 3rd round pick, Cade Stover out of Ohio State, 6'4", 251. He's a guy that can get deep up the seam. Pretty good run after catch guy. Known for being clutch, especially in the red zone. Blocking is okay, but the Rams can coach him up on that, and he'll be even better at the NFL level than he was at the college level. Just a really nice mix as far as the skill set. Tough, a little bit explosive, can block a little bit, good in the red zone, all around solid tight end. Now, a guy I might like even a little bit more, partially because you can get him a little bit later, is Ben Sinnott out of Kansas State. 6'4", 245, so that's right smack in the middle of what the Rams are looking for. One of the more athletic tight ends in the draft and really good at high-pointing balls, much like Davis Allen. So what's my verdict here? Well, a lot of it might depend on how they feel about Tyler Higbee being ready for the 2024 season, and if he isn't, is Hunter Long going to be ready? If Higbee isn't ready, maybe the Rams go out and try to find an affordable veteran tight end to round this group out, but I don't think they do. I think they're going to roll with Davis Allen as their number one tight end and hope Hunter Long is ready to go as well if Tyler Higbee isn't. But even though it would be out of cycle, it should be another 3 years following this pattern before McVay drafts another tight end, because of that injury to Higbee, maybe they spend a late draft pick on a guy like Ben Sinnott. There just aren't a lot of unrestricted free agent tight ends that are that attractive to me. I mean, you go down this list, Tyler Kroft, Johnny Munt, Jimmy Graham, Ross Dwelly, Irv Smith, Mercedes Lewis. I think he'll be 40 by the time the year starts. Robert Tonyan, there's an option there. Let's just hope Tyler Higbee is ready to go. If not, by the start of the season, maybe a few weeks in, and the Rams roll with what they have. If not, they may need to add a veteran tight end, but it's going to be someone really affordable, just as insurance behind Davis Allen and Hunter Long, in my opinion. So my final verdict, no draft picks on tight ends. No free agent signings of tight ends. Davis Allen potentially our starter day one if Tyler Higbee isn't ready to go. Hunter Long his backup. And one of these two guys on futures contracts actually have a shot to make this roster. Hey, does the Higbee injury mean maybe they try to bring back Brycen Hopkins? I guess that's a thought. Draft's pretty far out, but that's my take on the tight end situation for the Rams. Would have been a lot simpler if Tyler Higbee hadn't have taken that shot against the Lions, but complicates things a little bit, but I think I'm nailing this down pretty good. Davis Allen, Hunter Long, Tyler Higbee. No draft picks, no free agent signings. We'll revisit this in a roundtable with a couple of other guys, get their take on it. They can maybe tell me how wrong I am. I think our discussions on cornerback and edge rushers is going to be a little bit more fun, though.
This episode is brought to you by TurboTax. TurboTax experts make all your moves count. Filing with 100% accuracy and getting your max refund guaranteed. So whether you started a podcast like this one, side hustled your way to concert tickets, or quit your job to stream video games online full-time, switch to TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco, comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
This episode is brought to you by Folgers Coffee. You're not just any coffee drinker. You're a Folgers coffee drinker. Because for over 170 years, Folgers has been serving up expertly crafted brews that are bold, never bougie. And now there's over 20 varieties to choose from. Damn good coffee roasted in New Orleans. Damn right, it's Folgers. Visit FolgersCoffee.com/coffee to shop now.
Crypto is like the financial system, but different. It doesn't care where you come from, what you look like, your credit score, or your outrageous food delivery habits. Crypto is finance for everyone, everywhere, all the time. Visit Kraken.com/see what crypto can be to learn more. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Ventures, Inc. View PBI's disclosures at Kraken.com/legal/disclosures.
Ah, yes, the magnificent Trolley Sour Bright Crawler. also known as Trollicus brightolus. The worm's captivating neon colour makes it an easy, gummy prey.
Trolly!
It's a surprisingly sour, invitingly chewy, staggeringly snackable species unlike anything else found on this planet.
Eat me!
Delicious. Visit Trolley.com to shop now.
Trolly, eat me!
Now, if you're wondering why I haven't talked about the Rams' search for a new defensive coordinator, what is there to say? They're interviewing everybody and anybody at this point. Got some internal candidates, Denard Wilson from the Ravens, Brandon Staley from the Chargers, Ron Rivera. So 2 coaches that have been relieved of their duties, Staley and Rivera. You know what? I'd be happy with any of these guys at this point. Wilson would probably be my first choice. Always loved Ron Rivera. And Brandon Staley, I don't know how I feel about that. Not sure how much street cred he has with players at this point, but hey, if he comes back to the Rams. But hey, Sean McVay knows what he's doing. Whatever decision he makes, it will be the right one. He's done pretty well finding assistant coaches over the last few years, hasn't he? So good that they all move on to even greater jobs. Now, as far as the Senior Bowl, between now and Saturday, I'm not sure how many drops we're going to have, but I'll be giving you a heads up on some players you should watch. One of the top guys on my list in the Senior Bowl, and you know the Rams love Senior Bowl players, T'Vondre Sweat, the interior defensive lineman out of Texas. This is a guy that Scott Richmond, one of our guests, talked about. Big fan of what Sweat could add to this interior defensive line of the Rams, and the Rams need bodies there. Now, I've argued for bringing back a guy like Greg Gaines, but T'Vondre Sweat would be a cheaper addition. Just a matter of where the Rams want to spend their free agent capital and their draft capital. Keep an eye on Sweat, the Texas interior defensive lineman. I've seen the edge rusher out of UCLA, Laiatu Latu. Man, I'm probably butchering that name, and I'm not going to try again. I am not a big fan of the Rams using additional draft capital, especially a first-round pick on Latu. Now, Sweat you could probably get in the second round. He could go in the first. Latu will definitely go in the first round, one of the top 2 or 3 edge rushers. I like the idea of bringing in a free agent edge rusher, a proven quantity, because we need to improve there fast, and it has to be a sure thing. As good as Latu could be, not sure if he's going to be an impact player as a rookie. But hey, watch him in the Senior Bowl. Maybe he will change our minds. And then there's the 2 quarterbacks, Michael Penix and Bo Nix. Only in the second round, I say. I still don't think the Rams are going to go quarterback early in this draft. Just don't see it. But I love watching both those guys play. So if for no other reason, just for your own entertainment, watch Penix and Nix. And keep an eye on offensive tackle Troy Fautanu out of Washington. He's a guy the Rams could take a hard look at late in the first round, maybe even move back and still grab him. It would all depend on how the top half of that first round plays out. He would improve that left tackle situation for the Rams. And one other offensive lineman that Scott Richmond liked, a tackle out of Arizona, Jordan Morgan. Keep an eye on him. Wide receiver Roman Wilson out of Michigan. He's a guy that would fit into the Rams offense pretty well, I think. Ben Sinnott, the guy we talked about already, Kansas State tight end. He'll be playing for the American team. And you're interested in an offensive lineman that would fit this new Rams running scheme to a T. Jackson Powers Johnson, the guard out of Oregon on the national team. Keep your eye on him. You'll like what you see. And do you remember a couple weeks ago, I had a somewhat facetious mock draft. I picked a bunch of Coopers, Cooper DeJean, Cooper Beebe, Edgerrin Cooper. Well, Kansas State offensive guard Cooper Beebe is another guy that fits this Rams offense between Jackson Powers Johnson and Cooper Beebe. 2 guys that, hey, I would love for the Rams to get either one of these guys in the second round, especially if Kevin Dotson cannot be retained. Cooper Beebe, Jackson Powers Johnson. Sure things along that Rams offensive line if we can get them. And maybe my favorite player in this game, the guy that, man, hopefully he can come through and show something, the place kicker Joshua Carty out of Stanford. Another guy Scott Richmond mentioned. Man, This is probably the biggest hole in the Rams roster at this point. Place kicker. Hopefully Cardi has some opportunities to hit some 48, 49, 50-yarders. So that's my quick viewer's guide to the 2024 Senior Bowl. I'll probably add in a few I'll probably come back with some more names in our next drop. Guys, Rams scouts will certainly be watching, and maybe we should too. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.